Hello everyone, my name is Intense003 and welcome to the Valencia Project Episode 2, a review of Valencia's week that was, and this week was a good week. It was two solid wins, one in La Liga against Atletico Madrid and then in the Champions League against Sparta Borisov. I personally, from a fan's point of view, definitely enjoyed this week. I mean, this has been a very up and down season so far. It seems to be that one week we'll play really well, but the next week we won't. But in saying that, the two wins that we had this week were very, very, very different. The game against Atletico Madrid in the weekend, 2-0 win, Soldado and Valdez scoring, and Soldado scoring an absolutely amazing goal. The weird thing about that game was the fact that it was a very closed cage game. As much as La Liga is so open all the time, it was a closed game. I think it was the 75th minute or something. I remember the stats coming up on the screen and it said that Valencia had 3 shots for the game up to that point. There wouldn't be much more after that. I'm sure it only ended up around 6 or so. So to have that as the amount of shots we're taking in a whole entire game against quality opposition, I mean, we won 2-0, so we took our chances when we had them. It's not a very good way. I mean, that against another team might not work. So that against, you know, a Barcelona or something, or well, anyone who's having a keeper's having a good game, you know, you're not going to score those goals, and it's going to be, you know, a 0-0 or at least a loss, sorry. And but in saying that, we also didn't allow Atletico Madrid to have that many chances, and obviously if you're not letting the other team create chances, then you're not going to be able to concede goals. And one key thing I know I was worried about before the game was, what will Falcao do? He is a freak of a player, and I think we all agree that any team in the world would love to have him. So the fact that he was able to be shut down, I'm not sure if Soldado cutting his head open maybe put him off his game or something, but he was shut down. I can only remember one chance for Atletico the whole game. That was from the corner. I'm pretty sure Falcao got the header on, and then I can't remember who tried to backheel it in, but someone tried to backheel it in, and Alves was in perfect position and saved it. And that's when Falcao hurt his head. That was the only chance I can remember from the game, and overall I think we've just had a really good defense, and we were able to be quite watertight with the team we put out there, which really is, I mean, I can say it's very different to, you know, what we play some weeks and what we don't play some weeks. You know, we verse other teams and that aren't of Atletico Madrid's quality yet, and we will concede heaps of chances, where against Atletico, against Barca, and against Madrid so far this season, we didn't concede those chances at all. I don't understand how, when we are versing good teams, versing better teams, teams that, you know, will play through the middle and will just dominate you because they have such good players, and they don't dominate us and they can't get those chances, yet we'll verse a lesser team that, you know, Valencia should beat, and we'll concede these chances. And that's it's really been a large contrast between the games that we've played this season, and definitely see it again against Atletico Madrid, except this time against Atletico, not like against Barca and Madrid, we were able to get the win and able to get 2 crucial goals to help us along and make our charge up the table. One thing I would like to talk about for the game is Valdez and his impact off the bench. He has an incredible work rate. He runs his ass off. He doesn't stop running at all. He's always putting heaps and heaps of pressure on the defense, and I really love when he comes off the bench. Probably Pellegrino has been bringing him on a bit late in some games. I definitely thought he brought him on too late against Sparta Borisov. I mean, we already basically had the game won when he brought him on. I know they did get that other goal, but anyway, I'll talk about that later. But he's probably coming on a bit late. He can be a very, very good impact player. And for someone, I wrote this in the Valencia chat group on Facebook, he for someone who doesn't score a lot of goals, and I remember when we were signing, a lot of us were saying, well, he doesn't score goals, why are we signing him? We need a striker, we need goal scorers. He's scored quite a lot for us, and he's been a great signing, and I think he's been an excellent impact player to have off the bench. And he's only here for one season. Of course, we can buy him. I can't remember the exact price, what his buy would be, but if he could play like that as an impact player, I feel he's definitely a better player than what Aduriz was the last couple of seasons. Even though right now for Athletic Bilbao, Aduriz is destroying it and scoring heaps and heaps of goals. I feel that he didn't have that kind of that run, and I feel Valdez, he can come on as a defensive kind of forward, so you can bring him on in the later stages of games where he will have that presence to really slow them down and make the other team play faster, because they'll have the pressure on them, and from corners and that you're going to have the extra header out. So I feel he's a very good player to have late in games, and if he does what he does and what he did against Atletico Madrid in big games, in any game really, if he does that consistently, that would be brilliant. To come on 15 minutes and score a goal, and it's an important goal like that. Valencia were so close to really conceding a goal, and after the red card, which was, I will say, one of the worst decisions. I mean, we've had these decisions so many times, the Feghouli red card, and now this red card in the weekend. I can understand by the letter of the law, it is a red card. His hand hit the face of the other player, which is an offence. But in that situation, it should never be given. It was a very weak touch. It wasn't even like he didn't jump up and put force into it. He kind of just touched him a little bit, and that was given red. And that's definitely not how I like to see the game refereed. And that was the only bad thing I can say really from the Valencia Atletico game, other than the fact that we didn't make chances. It was that, and we'll lose him next game, and we'll see how that works out, and we should be fine. But that's just something that I think this season's referees have been quite poor, and it's had an impact on our season, and we've already lost, what would that be, 3 points? I think it's 3 points, because we should have had a draw against Barca and a win against Madrid. That's a couple of points there, and we could have lost more. I mean, other games where we've lost it ourselves, but in the games that you play well, you hope that you get the right decisions to go with it, and we didn't, and we don't sometimes. So, but it would be quite annoying if the red card on the weekend does turn into a multiple game suspension. But moving on from what is not a very nice topic, talking about suspensions, and the poor part of the game is the game against Bate Borisov, and a good game. Feghouli played amazing. He went to that kind of form where if you give him the ball, he'll beat that player, he'll do something good with it, and you can see he's got so much skill, and he's going to be such a good player, and I hope we are able to re-sign him as soon as possible. And unlike the Atletico game, we're able to create chances, we're able to create just all these goal-scoring opportunities. There was, I distinctly remember the one Feghouli made where he ran into the ball really quickly, had a large first touch, and then tried to chip the keeper. Chances like that were never created against Atletico Madrid, and we had plenty of them against Bate Borisov. We did miss quite a few. It was very disappointing to see us go from 3-0 up to 3-2 up, and have them come back with Gargo's mistake. But as long as Gargo did have a mistake, but the thing is, he had an amazing game. If I was to rate him out of 10, I'd still give him a 7 or an 8. One goal mistake, I know it can be crucial. I mean, that could have been them coming back, getting the momentum, and maybe us losing 2 points, but it didn't happen. But the way he played throughout the game, especially it was, I think, the early in the second half, there was a time, it was about 5-minute period or 6-minute period where, just before Feghouli's second goal, where Gargo intercepted about 3 or 4 different passes, and he just marshalled that midfield. He took control, and Bate Borisov were not able to get through that midfield because of Gargo. His role in the Valencia team cannot be understated. He is amazing for the team, and another brilliant buy that we got off season. I can't speak more highly of him, as long as he doesn't do that mistake where he's holding onto the ball too much and we concede goals from it. He's an absolute brilliant player, and very happy to have him in the team and playing that role. And he's definitely someone we can look to hold our midfield in the future. And our midfield at the moment is extremely strong. I don't know what Pellegrino did. Tino Costa has become an amazing player. He was already very good last season and season before, but the problem with him was he wasn't able to pass very well. His free kicks was what kept him based in the team, because we loved him, obviously, with his free kicks. If scoring how many games he scored goals where free kicks were so important and he got them in. But right now he's able to marshal, he's able to defend, he's able to pass, his visions get better. I've noticed a little bit less long balls. He was very much a long ball team. We were a very much a long ball team with him in. We still are generally when he's in, but not as much. He's a very good player now, and I'm very happy to see this change in Tino Costa. And well, he now is called up for Argentina, so I'm sure there are other people out there now who have seen this change and seen how good Tino Costa has become. And lastly, in midfield is Ever Benenga. He got his first assist, I believe, since coming back, and it was a brilliant assist, something that only he could do. You know, that kind of pass requires amazing vision and amazing skill. And him coming off the bench now, and we've seen this 4-3-3 played, and it's really quite effective. We're able to play really well with them all. You'll see them, Tino Costa and Ever Benenga change places, and the one key thing I think is Gargos also can be very offensive, so he can go up and play the pass as well. So we're not scared on all three of them playing the pass and getting someone else in to have the shot and score the goal. And it's interesting seeing how now, after years of trying with Unai Emery to work the 4-3-3, sorry, it never worked, and now it's working to great effect. I don't know if it's Gargo and Ever, who have played 4-3-3 for Argentina before, who just know their role very well, and Tino Costa's now getting that extra, gone that extra step, made him a better player, is why it's now very effective. But it has been an amazing change, and I can't tell now what my formation is. I mean, we saw the 4-3-3 fail one game, you know, but I can see it being a very, very positive way to move forward. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know which my favourite formation is. I know for 4-2-3-1, or 4-2-2-1-1, whichever one we're going to play, you know, playing Jonas behind Soldado, if you're going to play that kind of game, or we're going to play the 4-3-3 where Eva and Tino will switch from that cam and CM position. I think it really doesn't matter. I'd like to see Eva start the game soon enough. Of course, he still is coming back from injury, he's still getting his match fitness up, so in a couple of weeks I'd like to see Eva, Tino, Gargo start and have Argentinian midfield, that trio, and then see if we can have, you know, Feguli, Soldado, and Guardado, who's growing as well as a player in the Valencia team. And it's really positive. We've had a lot of players coming through who are playing really positive, playing really well. Of course, you could play Vieira up there. You can play Vieira in Jonas's role. There's a lot of players who are fighting for positions, which is very good. And then, of course, we've got Piatti coming back. He was in the team, I believe, for the Bate game, so he is back, and I'd like to see him get in the team, see what he can do, because we're going to need him come January, when we have Feguli out for a month due to the African Cup of Nations. So all in all, it's been a very positive week, and this weekend we have, I believe it's Real Valladolid, and that's away from home. We should do quite well against them if we can play to our strengths. And the problem is, like I said before, against lesser teams we're not played as well, so hopefully we can still create those chances. Soldado, I still believe, is out of form, though he scored the last couple of games in a row. He's definitely out of form. He scored penalties, and even the hat-trick game, that was when you saw him play a little bit better, but he really hasn't been playing that well. He hasn't been able to run into, get those chances. But we are creating plenty of chances for other players, so I'd hope to see us win the game on the weekend, and I'm going to predict I'm going to say 3-0. I mean, or 3-1. That's a huge amount of goals really to score, considering I just said I don't know if we can create chances. But I'm going to go with that for this weekend. I think we should win and finally get those back-to-back wins that we've sorely needed. But yep, so that's been the week for Valencia. 2 crucial wins, and a future in the next round of the Champions League looks like it's there. We look like we'll be in the round of 16. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Well, there's a good run here and he could maybe find him. Well, there goes the final whistle. The referee has blown.